How have you been, Nick?
I'm good. Work is good. I'm very busy, but I feel like everything I've been doing for the last 2.5 years here is finally starting to work and take off. So
that's ow! Sorry, cat jumped on my leg.
Damn it, Rocket!
Damn it, Rocket! Go somewhere. There's a bed right there. I didn't just chuck the cat off camera.
This cold open brought to you by kitty throwing.
Animal violence.
Have you thrown your kitten this morning?
She was about to lay down, and then I made eye contact with her, and she's like, "I'm gonna come over by you." And now I got Frankenstein laying on my leg where she clawed me. So like, and the dog's afraid of Rocket.
I don't blame Frankenstein one bit.
Yeah. Anyways, continue about how good work is going.
No, it's like I'm actually too busy to complete all my work, which is good, but we brought somebody in, a part-time editor who has been a really great asset, and our office manager, who we've had for a while now, is doing really great things. So like I come into work and things got done, and there's stuff that I didn't even expect it to be as good as it was that happened. And
do you have someone to get you coffee yet? Is that a thing?
I totally do. Is a handsome gentleman, blonde, shorter beard than he used to have. His name is Nick, and he gets my coffee.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
My office manager has offered to get me coffee, and I'm like, no, that's not your job. She's like, that's the kind of thing that a secretary would do. I'm like, you're not my secretary. You're an office manager. You manage my office.
I still remember when my first time on a professional set, and it just happened to be that I was directing, and that was probably when I peaked at filmmaking. I haven't done much else. I haven't done much else good since then. But it was when I was making my film "Love You Still." I think I showed you that one about the old man and the boat.
I saw that at the festival.
Yes, of course. Yes, I forgot that was playing there because it was weird that both From the Darkness Theater and that were playing. But my first day on set, and it was raining a little bit, but not too bad. You know, like where you could still stand out there. But we had to wait for the rain to stop to shoot, or else it wouldn't match. And he was doing DIT, so he was the guy. Like after we finished shooting red footage, we hand it off to him. He digitizes it and puts it onto a hard drive and does all that shit. Okay. He comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, boss, you want a cup of coffee?" I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm
me?
Yeah, and I was like, "This guy right here?" And he's like, "Yeah, you want a cup of coffee?" I'm like, "Sure, where is it? I'll go grab it." He's like, "No, I'm going to get it for you." I'm like, "Why? Why? What did I do to deserve this?"
You know what that is? Filmmakers from the Midwest.
Yes.
We don't want people doing stuff for us.
Yeah, and it's like...
Salt of the earth, meat and potatoes.
Like, you guys need help at the end of that. You guys need help with putting those lights away. And, I found out if I would have been on a real professional set with unions, I would have gotten fired for that.
Right, yeah.
Like, I found out it's so strict that, like, say I'm on camera, and someone does my makeup, someone does my hair. If my hair is in the way and on my makeup can't remove it. They have to call hair over to do it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, my mom's always like, doesn't knowing shit like that ruin movies for you? He's like, no, it makes it better, especially because if I can watch a movie and forget about all this stupid, trivial shit I know, it's working.
That's the sign of a really good movie, right?
Yeah. But then there'll be sometimes I would watch and it's like, I want to know what the lighting setup was on this bitch.
Right.
Which will work into Godfather later on, because I wondered that a lot through the movie. It's like, where'd they hide lights?
All right, well, let's, with that wonderful segue.
You mean not... it wasn't intended to be a wonderful segue, but it kind of worked out that way.
It was smooth.
Thank you. Well, then I guess I should do my intro, because I can't do my intro without saying on camera that I should do my intro.
Take a sip of coffee first. Get into character.
A sip of coffee for the working man.
Hello and welcome to the Shameless Picture Show. I am your host, Michael Viers, and with me, as always, is the man who, I don't know.
Just, if you hear a bell around at all, it's Rocket playing with a toy.
Okay.
So it's not Tinkerbell, it's Rocket.
It's not some kind of classical conditioning you're trying to...
Yes, exactly. It's actually funny, real quick, before I actually get to the intro. I did, the last episode I did with Amanda, and we talked about baptism by movies. I thought it sounded nice, so I just went with that. And it was so weird, like, every time I've done an episode with her, she's like, I've sat across from her, and I had to, like, get into character. It always feels weird, because, like, I know even just, like, when I'm talking to someone else, I get into character. But, like, when I have to do this by myself, I feel like anytime, listeners, I'm by myself, it's closer to what I'm really like than when I'm talking to someone. So anytime that I record like one of my Blu-ray reviews, that's me. This is a character.
Actual Michael.
This is a character. I'm not nearly as fun as I seem. And if I don't seem fun at all, then pray for my wife. Because, like, even Amanda was like, when I was listening to our episode, which I love that now she's listening back to shit that she was on. Like, I don't know why I find that amusing. And she's like, when you started talking about Star Time, it's like, you just sounded different. And I was like, well, yeah, because I got no one to talk against. It's just me talking to this microphone. And this microphone can be very intimidating.
Yes, it can.
Now, I'm not going to take my for real sip of coffee for the working man. Today's episode of the Shameless Picture Show is sponsored by Vinegar Syndrome. Check them out online at www.vinegarsyndrome.com. Vinegar Syndrome is one of the most interesting DVD and Blu-ray labels around because of their extensive catalog of horror, cult, exploitation, and vintage sexploitation films. Unlike most companies, Vinegar Syndrome is also a restoration company with their own in-house lab where they've done new restorations for companies such as Arrow, Massacre Video, and Draft House Films. Check out Vinegar Syndrome today and grab your copy of Dolomite, Sugar Cookies, Jack Frost, or even Psycho Cop Returns. While I'm a little more knowledgeable about the label than my co-host, I can assure you that I love their stuff. Whenever I'm at a convention, their table is one of the first I hit, and much to my wife's chagrin, I spend way too much time going over every single title. I own quite a few. So, once again, head over to www.vinegarsyndrome.com and grab yourself something cool. Seriously, my money is on Christmas Evil. Go buy it. It's John Waters' favorite Christmas movie.
And therefore it should be yours.
He does a commentary on it. It's kind of great. He does a commentary with the director, which it's even better because he has a completely different opinion of what the movie's about than the director, which makes it even better. Vinegar Syndrome. Check them out online at www.vinegarsyndrome.com.
That's for fucking with me, you no business born insecure motherfucker!
Warning! This movie podcast actually discusses movies. Be aware that it may discuss any of the following elements: endings, surprise twists, unexpected cameos, and all manner of spoilers. If this doesn't appeal to you, why listen to a movie podcast? Without further ado, please enjoy our feature presentation, The Shameless Picture Show.
Welcome to another episode of The Shameless Picture Show. I am Michael Viers, and with me, as always, is a man that taught me one simple truth. In Sicily, women are more dangerous than shotguns.
Nick Richards.
Yeah, you had that one prepared, though, because
I heard,
you knew where I was going with it last week.
I didn't remember it, but when you said it, I'm like, yes, that feels like
as I was watching the movies, like, that's the line. Because, there's a lot of great lines in this movie, but nothing that really works for our intro. And I've gotten lucky that every movie I have found something.
First you get the shooter, then you get the power.
And then you get the women. That, I have to say, is one of my favorite Homer Simpson speeches of all time. Not that part though, but the part later on when he's talking about
their beards.
When the society fathers are cluck their tongues and stroke their beards, and whatever happened to Homer Simpson?
What's to be done with this Homer Simpson?
The terrible highs, the horrible lows, and the sweet nougaty middles.
Must protect sugar. Thieves everywhere. The strong must protect the sweet. The sweet.
Homer?
In America, first you get the sugar, then you'll get the power, then you'll get the women.
Homer!
Huh?
Homer!
What?
I want you to forget about guarding the stupid sugar. You're being completely paranoid.
Oh, am I? Am I really? Aha!
Hello.
All right, pal. Where'd you get the sugar for that tea?
I nicked it when you let your guard down for that split second. And I'd do it again. Goodbye.
You see, Marge? Do you see?
Homer, when are you going to give up this crazy sugar scheme?
Never! Never, Marge. I can't live the button-down life like you. I want it all. The terrifying lows, the dizzying highs, the creamy middles. Sure, I might offend a few of the blue noses with my cocky stride and musky odors. Oh, I'll never be the darling of the so-called city fathers who cluck their tongues, stroke their beards, and talk about what's to be done with this Homer Simpson.
Look, just get rid of the sugar, okay?
No!
I was just telling somebody my favorite Futurama line of all time. It's, thanks to denial, I'm immortal.
To this day, the line that makes me laugh the hardest anytime I hear it is when Hermes is just standing on the roof and Bender goes, "Do a flip!" It's so simple, but it makes me laugh. But on an unrelated note, on today's episode, we'll be discussing Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece of cinema, The Godfather. Rocket! Whatever you're doing, stop it!
It's an interesting synopsis.
Yeah. It kind of
Did we
rhymed.
watch the same film?
I don't know. I just watched a movie and said it was The Godfather. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola from a screenplay written by Mario Puzo and Coppola based on a novel by the same name written by Mario Puzo. Puzo's a fun name to say. The Godfather tells the story of the Corleone crime family during a 10-year period from 1945 to 1955. Don Vito Corleone is the aging patriarch of the family, and we follow his quick fall from grace after an attempted hit on his life from a young drug pusher named Sollazzo. While down for the count, Vito's son Sonny takes over the business for his father as they plot revenge on the men involved with the failed assassination on his father. While this is happening, a war breaks out amongst the crime families, and Vito's youngest son Michael reluctantly becomes involved in the family business. Coppola's film is heralded as one of the great films of all time and was officially selected to be preserved in the U.S. National Film Registry of the Library of Congress in 1990 for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
What do you want of me? Do what I beg you to do.
Now you come to me and you say, Don Corleone, give me justice. You come into my house and you ask me for murder.
I ask you for justice.
That is not justice.
They want to get mixed up in the family business? You gotta get up close like this, and bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
You give him one message, I want Sollazzo. If not, it's all out war. We go to the back.
Some of the other families won't sit still.
No, hand me Sollazzo.
Father would want to hear this. This is business, not personal.
They shot my father.
Even the shooting of your father was business, not personal.
You know my father. Men are coming here to kill him.
I never wanted this for you. I worked my whole life. I don't apologize to take care of my family. And I refused to be a fool. Dancing on the string held by all those big shots.
It's not personal. It's strictly business.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a hard movie to summarize in such a short way. Because there's a lot going on. Because, like, as I started writing, the synopsis. I was like, okay, I mentioned Don Vito. Fuck, I can't just go straight to Michael because there's that middle part where Sonny takes over, and it's like each person kind of has their moment to shine, or in Sonny's case, crash and burn.
Get gunned down in a hail of machine gun fire at a toll booth.
Yeah, I don't
spoilers.
I just love that the fucking guy manning the toll booth just drops a coin. He's like, oops, and just kneels down as everyone else it just blows him away. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, damn fingers don't work like they used to. I'll be right back. I'll just be lying on my stomach.
I just thought of the guy from UHF. Oops, Butterfingers. And he just goes to... Oh, Emo Phillips.
So where do you want to dive in here?
Well, it's weird because normally we go with what the person who hasn't seen it, what they thought about it. Neither of us has seen it, but technically at the point of recording this, I've seen it 3 times.
Right, yeah, because we had so many false starts on this episode.
Well, let's ask this.
I don't think it quite hit Buffy level of next time on the Shameless Picture Show we won't watch what we said we were going to watch.
1 or 2 more episodes. I mean, actually, Amanda thinks it's better than Buffy in terms of our build-up. I don't agree.
Okay.
But...
Though she has the outside perspective on it.
That's fair.
That we might be too into it.
Maybe. What episode was Buffy? Do you remember what episode Buffy is?
No. 14,
I'm gonna
15,
look.
16, somewhere in that.
It is 11. So that was 11 episode build. Yeah, this one was only about 9 episode build because we had talked about.
Did we talk about it from the very beginning?
I think that was one of the plans right off the bat for season 2, maybe right after Suspiria, because I was like, hey, I want to talk about The Godfather because it's on Netflix, and life found a way to not make that movie happen.
Right, but here we are now, after technical difficulties and scheduling conflicts.
I do have to say, it's amusing, real quick, actually, before we actually talk about The Godfather, going back and looking at season 1, and then season 2 just seems so weird to me. The fact that it went from, Dirty Harry to You're the Hunter from the Future. I don't know. Season 2 has been a hoot this far.
A hoot and a holler.
Yeah. But anyways, what did you think of The Godfather?
I'm going to say I really enjoyed it, but I'm going to temper that. And it's going to segue back into my controversial Shakespeare opinion. Of that, when you go into anything where the only correct response socially is it's the greatest thing ever, then I'm always it's not that I go in ready to not like it or tear it apart, but
You're one of those society fathers with clucking their tongues.
Yeah, what's to be done with this Francis Ford Coppola? Is it Coppola?
I've heard it said both ways. I think Coppola sounds nicer, so that's the way I'm saying it.
I'm going to go Coppola. That way I cover all my bases.
There you go.
And quite frankly, it didn't crack my top favorite films. It was good. It had many great moments. I would never, if I was assembling the greatest films ever made list, this wouldn't be on it.
No.
Not because there's anything wrong with it, but because maybe I just didn't relate to the material in a way that others did. It was good, well acted. It was entertaining. Some of the, we'll say, political elements of it, I had a hard time following, especially in the first act. Okay, why did he kill that person? And what is that person's... following all of the families and the motives of each individual person, and why are they killing that person at this point, for what reason, lost me a bit until...
If you watch it 2 more times like I did, you'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, I kind of figured that was one that just requires a couple extra viewings to lock in.
Well, because the first time I watched it with Amanda, but I watched most things. Amanda, it's when you sometimes you'll say oh, this is the type of movie you want to watch alone, with a person. Watch this is watching a movie with Amanda is kind of like watching alone because she watches movies a very similar way that I do. It's not like having, say, like my buddy Kyle or someone over where like you're almost in host mode where like
right.
Like it's she's an extension of me, so it's easier to watch things with her. But the first time I watched it with Amanda, and then her best friend Emma was visiting from Florida. And Emma brought her girlfriend, Clarissa, and we all watched together. And and it's funny, I wouldn't take back that screening for anything because there was some great, like, holy shit moments. Like we all literally cheered in the living room when Sonny beat the shit out of his brother-in-law.
Right.
Like, we literally cheered. Or, like, some of the... Because, like, it's such a slow-moving movie. When there was scenes of violence, it was really fucking violent.
Right.
Especially for its time period. Like, what, 1972? Like, some of those scenes, like, and were super well orchestrated. And it's one of those things, it's like, it teeters, if I had to, because I'm Letterboxd, I've been kind of forcing myself to be a little bit more critical about what I think about films. I'm not, like, trashing anything, but, like, try to, because, like, when I was a kid,
not everything
I was like,
can be a 5-star.
Yeah, I was like, I loved it. I loved everything. Like, Without a Paddle was a 5-star movie for me when I was a kid.
Without a Paddle's a great film.
I do love Without a Paddle. I don't know if I'd give it 5 stars, but I'd still love it.
And he's soundtracked with 38 Special on it is okay with me.
And then, like I think I told you, I'm making because of Edgar Wright, the filmmaker. He made a list of his 1,000 favorite films, and then I've tried to see if I can mimic that. I'm only up to like 300.
Okay.
I'm going back and forth if I would add The Godfather, because like on Letterboxd, it's teetering anywhere depending on the day. It'll go from 4 stars to 4.5. It's never quite gets to the 5-star point because on a technical level it's brilliant. On an acting level it's brilliant. After 3 times I've grown to like the characters finally.
Yeah.
I just there was a thing that's not clicking with me. Wait, with a movie like Gone with the Wind, I can see why this was a massive hit. Even though, like, if you view it from today's standards, there's a lot of things wrong with it. But I can see why it was a hit. You go back and watch Star Wars, the original Star Wars. Forget everything else you know about Star Wars and just watch that first movie. You can see why this was a massive hit. I think
I'm with you on Godfather. It hasn't clicked in.
I haven't found like why it was such a big success yet. Because like I think I've said on a previous episode that Francis Ford Coppola is a director always known to be an amazing director, but I hadn't seen Godfather. Well, technically I saw it one time, but I don't remember anything about it before all this. And I hadn't seen Apocalypse Now. Like, for me, like, the movie that made me realize that Francis Ford Coppola was a great director was Peggy Sue Got Married of all fucking movies.
Charlie, let's make love.
What? You mean sex? Intercourse. You want to have intercourse? Last weekend, you said. What time is it? Holy cow. It's late.
A lot of things have happened since last weekend.
But you were the one who said we should wait, and you were right. We should wait till we get married.
Well, I know I must have believed that one, but when I said it, doesn't Lucky Chucky want to come out?
Huh?
No. Your love machine, your throbbing thrill hammer, your thing.
You mean my wang?
The correct opinion.
And then, like, because, like, as I've researched the film, I didn't get to do as much research as I like to when we do a movie, or when we talk about a movie. I've heard very mixed things about what it was like on set. Because Coppola was constantly battling the studios because they kept saying, well, the subject matter is too grim, and all the footage you're sending to us is far too dark. He was constantly battling with the cinematographer. While Coppola believed the film should be darker, he was constantly battling with the cinematographer because he was making everything so rigid. Because if
just to clarify, when you say darker, do you mean the light, the actual lighting, not the subject matter?
Yeah, because like for example, like Al Pacino's he's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants to do in a scene, and if he'd move his head the wrong way, he'd be completely in darkness in the scene. So he had to be very rigid. So that was like making actors not very happy. It just seemed like it was a stressful fucking movie. And because of that, it's like, granted, that has nothing to do, like, you know, you watch the movie and it doesn't seem like, it seems like it was probably, I don't know, for me, it's like, I can kind of feel that it seemed like it was not a stressful movie to make, but after reading about everything, like, I don't know, it's hard for me to explain where I'm getting at with that.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't determine whether or not a movie's any good, but
it can affect the tone of the final piece.
Yeah.
Not that it has to, but it certainly has in many times.
I do have to say, though, with all these restrictions and everything, I thought all the acting was great, and Al Pacino was really fucking charming. I forget how charming he could be when he was younger.
It took me half the film to realize that was Al Pacino, because they're all such babies. He actually he looked more like young Dustin Hoffman than he did young Al Pacino. I kept thinking back to The Graduate.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes it's crazy to think about these younger actors, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Dustin Hoffman, like Diane Keaton, or even sometimes Richard Gere, like what their careers are like when they were younger versus now. Because like you look at almost every actor we just mentioned, and they are like they've got their character that they play.
Right.
And you go back and watch them when they were younger. Like Richard Gere was once one of the most charming fuckers ever on camera, and now I can't stand to look at his white-haired ass. And like Al Pacino, it's like I think of just like Scent of a Woman, hoo-ah! Like I just think of that guy, and
right, yeah, the devil's advocate, Al Pacino,
and he's just so young and charming in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cute seeing them as little baby-faced youngins.
I'm trying to think of the best way for us to discuss this film. Only thing I can think of is like if we just bring up points or talk about certain segments. Because like one thing I eventually want to talk about, if we don't talk about it just right now, because we never follow the movie chronologically.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what did you think of the segment in Italy?
That is what I have been thinking about the most since I watched it.
It's probably my favorite part of the movie.
Really, my take on it is if you pulled all of those sequences out of the film, I think it would be the exact same movie.
Well, no, it definitely would be, but it's the stuff that I found most interesting. Didn't necessarily work towards the plot, but I kept thinking, man, I would much rather see a movie just set in Italy. And then I think with this character and my buddy Fink, who was supposed to be on this episode, told me, he's like, oh, then you'd love Godfather too, because the film is all about Michael taking over the crime family, and half of it is about Don Vito as a young man building his crime empire in Italy.
Okay.
And Robert De Niro plays young Vito, and it's like, perfect.
Nice. Yeah, no, like, I felt like you could have had Michael just like, all right, we have to ship you away. Not seen him. You kept getting lines like, oh, I need to get this letter to Michael. Like his absence was still felt. And re-edit it without any of that. And then when he returns, you have the same exact film. The whole wife thing, like almost wrapped up, like, oh, we blew her up and now I'm going to go back to my girlfriend who never even heard about my wife. And like, there were zero consequences.
You know, it like that type of stuff kind of bugged me a little bit. But like, if we were to re-edit this, we'd have to add like an Indiana Jones like map with like the dotted line going to Italy. No, it's funny because it's like it does not work in the context of the film. But like, there's this, and maybe I liked it so much because it reminded me of a western because everyone's just walking around like fucking pistoleros and guns on their shoulders and shit. There's. Oh,
his bodyguard that like betrayed him at the end
my God,
without any
that really pissed me off.
Without any like, I had a lot of narrative problems with it. Visually I agree, you know, and even thematically, like going back to where it all began, where this crime family.
The fact he's living in a town named like that with his name, like he says his name and everyone just kind of like hushes up.
Right, that stuff was all great, but I feel like it was wasted. That all of those sequences were wasted because they didn't do anything. He got married, taught her how to drive, and then she blew up. His bodyguards, like,
there's no way to say that sentence without making me laugh.
There's. Like, I never believed that he really cared for this woman, but also it wasn't an important point that he didn't care about her either. It was like, it meant nothing to me, and I want it to mean something, and that's why I've still been thinking about it. Like, I'm trying to look at it from different angles and go, oh, okay, here's what I was missing.
I think
haven't found it yet.
A couple of reasons why I like it so much is, one, I think it's a nice breath of fresh air, because sometimes you forget, like, in context in movies when something takes place. Like, yeah, clothing and cars and everything, but sometimes you just forget, like, seriously, what the world was like at this time.
Yeah.
And you're like, through most of the movie, it's like, well, it's 1940s New York. Like, hell, you got 1940s New York in Dark City, so sometimes it's kind of hard to forget, like, or like it's easy to forget, like, contextually where you're at. When we went to Italy, it was almost like we got to see how the rest of the world, because you go to Italy now, people are dressed like we do now. You go to Italy then, it was still the fucking Old West,
right?
In terms of dress and the way people acted. It was like, I was just watching the original Ocean's 11 a little bit last night, the one of the Rat Pack.
Yep.
And they had a line. It's like, someone's talking to Frank Sinatra, and they're like, a crime like this has never been committed before. What makes you think you can do it? He's like, the same reason no one's ever gone to the moon yet, because they lack the equipment. And I was like, oh shit, this movie's made before anyone walked on the moon.
Right.
And I had to pause the movie and just sit there like, oh shit. Like, it just... Plus, it had one of my favorite moments of comedy in the movie when they're in Italy, when he was courting his first wife's father.
Yeah.
And there was, like, they're talking about the girl, and there was a second bodyguard who just repeated everything the other person said. So much so they didn't have to, like, they didn't even subtitle it. Yeah. Like, you just got the idea that he's just repeating the last word the last guy said, no matter every time. And I every time I've watched this movie, it's made me laugh.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a dumb reason for it being one of my favorite parts of the film, but same as you, but for different reasons. I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't, and all of those are good points. I just wish that it mattered more to the movie to make all of those enjoyable parts not feel like that, like, those parts alone weren't enough for me to go, oh, I'm glad that's in there.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit too that I wish it mattered more. Like, there's some great scenes of violence in this movie that I don't feel like it mattered, but, like, I don't feel like the boiling point was as big as I wanted to. I guess maybe one could argue that this is of a more realistic aspect, where, you know, things don't have the big dramatic boiling point that they do in movies. But, like, so Salazzo's a drug pusher who wants the mob's money to bankroll him.
Yeah.
Don Vito doesn't want to get involved in that because he's just about gambling. You know, to send a message, they shoot Don Vito, and, like, I feel like that should have been it was a big moment, but, like, what led up to Salazzo getting killed was not nearly as big as I was hoping. Like, they kidnap Tom Higgins and give him a drink, and
right,
like, it's the buildup was weird. Like I said, there's some great memorable scenes and a lot of nothing in between. Even when they went to Hollywood, like, that whole sequence was not important to the movie.
Right.
Nothing.
Vegas?
No, when they went to Hollywood at the very beginning of the movie, because that one singer guy asked them for a favor.
Oh, I didn't realize they went to Hollywood. I don't remember the favor stuff.
But anyways, when they went to Hollywood at the very beginning of the film, because they wanted to get that one singer that part in the movie.
Right.
And that's when the horsehead scene came up, and it's like, none of this is important. Like, yeah, it's a cool scene, and it's a really cool thing to do to a person, but
why Hollywood? In talking about the build up, even the build up to shooting of Brando. It wasn't until he was already shot and on the ground that I realized that was even that character.
Yeah.
Because of kind of lack of build-up. They just kind of showed this back of a person picking up fruit and buying it, and there was no...
But you're also watching it on a cell phone, to be fair.
That's true.
Not making fun of you at all, just saying
that
could have been part of it.
That may have had an effect on the final thing.
Now, if you're playing the movie on a telephone, you will never in a trillion years experience the film. You'll think you have experienced it, but you'll be cheated It's such a sadness that you think you've seen a film on your fucking telephone. Get real.
Yeah, I had to. We talked about this last time we tried to shoot this. When it finally came down to, okay, I have to make sure that I force myself to watch this because
that's a great
I've
reason
been
to watch
so
a
busy
movie
lately. So and then I'm like pulling it up. I'm like 3 hours, Jesus. And I ended up watching it in like 3 1-hour segments throughout the day, all on a cell phone, because I was never like in a place where I could sit down in front of a TV and watch it.
I feel like that's not a bad way to watch it though, because it kind of feels like a Netflix series then.
Yeah. Yep. I binge watched The Godfather.
A buddy of mine told me, he's like, that's the best way to watch Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Okay.
It's like a 4.5 hour movie.
Oh,
He's
Jesus.
like, watch it in half-hour increments, and then it feels like a Netflix series.
Just like pre-record the titles so you can play it every time right before you sit down to watch it.
I have to say, I'm kind of looking at my notes right now. One of the lines that really makes me laugh a little bit is at the very beginning, like when Don Vito is like granting wishes or favors, because he wishes because he's a genie on
Right.
his daughter's on
the day of my daughter's wedding.
On his daughter's wedding, which, by the way, it was played by Talia Shire, who's Adrian in Rocky. I don't know if you recognized her or not.
No, I did not.
But he says, we are not murderers, despite what this Undertaker thinks. I just love that he had to throw Undertaker. Like, I don't know, like that. I don't know if it was intended to be a line of comedy, but just the way that line is written kills me.
Yeah. One thing that I found interesting about that opening sequence was how. Okay, so they're contrasting, and it goes back and forth between this sequence in his darkened office where he's granting wishes as the genie he is, and then this wedding that's taking place outside in the sun, and there's very little crime activity or hints that they're a crime family in any of those outdoor sequences. So I thought it did a good job of highlighting how, like, out in the open, they are these normal people who can exist in society. They're not completely, holed up in their crime dens. They're out in society, and they are seen as, probably chances are most people know who they are and know to avoid them, but they're not being arrested just by showing up on the street.
No,
they exist
exactly.
in society.
And I appreciated that, for the most part, a lot of the characters are not caricatures. They are pretty three-dimensional. Even someone like Sonny, who is a hot-headed character, has got some depth behind him, which I appreciate. The whole wedding scene actually kind of. Well, I'll talk more about this in a second. While I think it's a completely weird fucking structure of how to begin a movie, the whole wedding sequence reminded me of. Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy at all?
No.
Well, first, one of the first couple episodes in the first season, there's so they're a motorcycle gang and pretty much known to be such. They are, one of the first episodes, they are throwing a charity event for children. So they have a fair set up, nice. And one of the guys is being an Elvis performer, and one of the guys is in the dunk tank, and their organization is throwing the event. So it's right. Everyone knows who they are. There's whispers about what they do, but they are there for the community. And I thought that's kind of an interesting way to add some depth to their characters. But that being said, that wedding sequence is a really weird way to introduce the film, because you struggled for a while to even think, who the fuck is the main character of this movie? Because there is no real main character.
No.
The person's arc who we follow the most, which I guess would technically be Michael, because
I think because that's where it ends. Yeah,
and then we follow him through the rest of the films. He's just kind of there, being very careful about what he says to Kay. And then it's just intercutting between the wedding and him granting favors. It's just a weird way to begin a movie. And it's the first 30 minutes of the film.
Mm-hmm. I think that worked for it, though. It set the tone for what the rest of the film is going to be in that non-traditional storytelling fashion. And I just lost my train of thought.
That's all right. I have more I was going to say. There are a couple little things I wanted to comment about that wedding scene. Is I love that Luca Brasi was rehearsing his speech, and then when he finally got to Don Vito, he was saying exactly.
Hope that your first child will be a masculine child.
Yeah.
There's so many parts of this film that I have seen over and over and over and over and over again, having never seen this film. And that's one of them. Like that rehearsed speech thing, you've seen that spoofed over and over again.
Yep. And then, like, you got the idea that one thing this scene did really well, too, is it kind of gave the idea that Michael is the odd man out.
Right.
That most of the family...
I never wanted this for you.
Most of the family doesn't really view him as part of the family, because they keep commenting throughout the entire thing. It's like, oh, Michael doesn't gotta worry, they know he's a civilian,
right?
Where they're like, oh, you're the safe one if anything. So like, but Don Vito didn't want to take the family photo until Michael was in the photo, and everyone was like, oh, Pop won't take the photo without Michael, and it's like they don't view him on the same level that Don Vito does. And I also love too, because like I've been in a situation like this where like Michael's like, okay, come get in the picture. Now this woman, who there was a good chance that no one would ever see her again, is in their wedding photos.
Right. I mean, he's going to go off to overseas and get married to somebody else. Oh, but then he'll come back and reunite with his girlfriend.
Yeah, once his wife blows up, all is love and fair and love and war. All is fair and love and war.
Back to the point you were making about the multiple dimensional characters, I was not expecting the Godfather to be, he's really only that harsh guy in that beginning sequence, and even then he's kind, but you're kind of anticipating that kindness to be tongue-in-cheek because he's running this crime family. But right after that, he's shopping for produce, and then he gets shot, and you see him in bed weak, and he's playing with his grandkids and talking about how much he loves his family. And then when Michael does take over, he talks about how I never wanted this. I didn't want this for me and you. I was making it so that I could give my kids a life that wasn't crime-ridden. That character was not what I was anticipating.
No, he's far more dimensional than I would have ever anticipated him to be, and that really worked for me. Because and one thing that he did really well too was I've read an interview with Marlon Brando, and he said that his biggest thing is unless he really needed to, and I can only think of one scene off the top of my head where he did this, and it was when he was slapping around that singer at the beginning of the film when he was crying so much. He said that he didn't want his character to yell because he's a man of power and didn't feel like he needed to.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pet this kitty cat.
Yeah, and I just love that his character came off as a person who did care, and one sentiment you get throughout often in the film is it's not personal, it's business, and I always viewed Don Vito as being a person who really lives that. None of his decisions or anything because of how he specifically feels about a person. It's because that's what he needs to do.
Yeah, though I think both Sonny and Michael don't follow that, even though Michael might say he does. And this is me having not seen I have no idea what's coming with 2 or 3.
I kind of want to watch them, though. I'm kind of excited to see where they go, but continue.
But yeah, no, Sonny, it's easy to see. Like, he is all id and no.
He's so two-faced. Like, there's that point early, like, right after Don Vito is shot, and they're all just hanging out at the Don's house.
Go get yourself something. You hungry? You should make sure you eat something. I want this guy dead.
I know. It was that scene. It was like, oh, fuck Sonny, man. Because it's
because he annoys him? Like, he never gives a reason. It's just like, this guy bothers me.
Well, it also was because Paulie was the guy that called in sick. So the reason that...
he was blaming him for his dad.
Yeah, I don't remember which brother had to drive Don Vito, but he comically bumbled the gun when he was supposed to be protecting his father. So Paulie's the reason that Sonny views that Paulie calling in sick is the reason that. Yep. So there's some motive behind it, but it's so ridiculously two-faced that like. And then, Sonny's all like, you know, you got to do everything you can for your family. You got to love your family, but he's such a shitty family man.
Right. Yeah. Something else that this is starting to remind me of is how little the whole sister and her abusive husband thing, like, that didn't resolve at all. It seemed like just this tool for Sonny to want to get involved and then to get shot. But not because he got shot, then it was just ignored for the rest of it until Michael comes in at the end and says, you're out
of the family.
But even that, like, it was so anticlimactic. Oh,
it was super weird too, because at first Michael was like, oh, you're gonna run Vegas for us, and that was all just whatever. And then, you know, he just let Sonny get on a plane.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so this is, and like, I say this movie has got a Game of Thrones quality, wherein that a lot of characters are introduced at once, and most of them aren't even introduced on camera, so they're just saying, oh, this guy's Salazzo, or this person, you know, whomever, and it's like, wait, who the fuck are we talking about? And then at the very end, when they're blasting everyone away, which is a fantastic scene, intercut with the baptism of his niece.
Do you renounce evil as you're saying all of these hits that he is?
But like, they're shooting people that we've never seen before. Like, okay, not all of them. Like, you see Mo Green get killed. You get see people like, but you see the actor who played who was in Maniac, who was also the mob boss in Rocky, get shot. And I was like, this is literally the first time we've seen this motherfucker. Why is he getting shot? He just went to go get a shave.
Right.
So it's like it's so weird. Like it's so hard. Like I think the movie is great, kind of, but
great kind of.
But I'm still surprised this movie is considered to be like one of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I feel like I watch Goodfellas and I can see it.
Goodfellas, I like Goodfellas more than this. Michael Viers of the Shameless Picture Show raves, it's great, kind of. I had to get that out.
But then, like, there's weird things that happen in the movie. Like, you know, they talk about Tattaglia getting killed. You know, he's one of the heads of the other crime family. He gets killed off camera. They just talk about him getting killed. So here's, like, you know, a person that they want to whack because they believe he had something to do with their father's death, and we don't even see it. But we see Sonny beat the shit out of his brother-in-law, which I still think is great, but whatever.
Or the Don putting an orange wedge in his face, chasing his grandkid, and then collapsing from a heart attack.
Sad as fuck, man.
And then the little boy's like, "Come on, Grandpa, let's play."
I do kind of love though, and I wish there was a little more behind it. I love that Michael decided to take a stand for the family, and like. He willingly put himself in the situation to kill Salazzo and McCluskey, the cop. But like, I don't know what made him do it, other than his father was shot.
Michael's motivation in this film is very mysterious, and if that Italy sequence means anything, it's this, because I believe, having only seen it one time, that when he this is what I suspect.
Okay.
That when he kills those two people, he is trying to avenge his father, and he has every intent on doing that because he has to for the family, goes away, hides all that he needs to, and then he'll go back to the life that his father wants for him, that he had always planned on being not part of this. Though I don't think it comes across, I don't think it's presented properly. Then he goes away to hide in his home, to where the family is from, and I believe that sequence is supposed to be Michael's conversion, because he goes back to the homeland where they found, where all of these rituals and politics and stuff come from. So then it kind of infected him, and then he comes back as this ready to take over the family business.
And I could see that totally happening too, because like one little detail that I got just from doing some reading that came from the book but wasn't really presented as well in the movie was when McCluskey essentially broke Michael's face, broke his jaw and fucked up his eye and everything. When he went to Italy, he chose not to get it fixed because he felt...
I feel like I was getting really confused about the timeline because it kept showing that thing on his face. I'm like, has this only been a week? Like, that should have healed up by now.
Well, one thing I'd say, the timeline's really fucked anyways, because remember when Don Vito was shot? He was shot in the street. That was during winter. Like, earlier or the night before, they kidnapped Tom Higgins, and it's snowing like crazy. But when they show Vito get shot, there's no snow to be seen. And like when they're driving of Tom, you see people walking around in like looks like summer clothing. So the timeline's fucked anyways.
Crazy weather we're having.
But no, it's like apparently he thought it made him look tough, and it kind of helped him, so people wouldn't fuck with him as much because like before that he had a baby face and he had no reputation and everything. But then they talk about later on about how Kay asked him to get it fixed. But like it's just a weird little detail that I found that I heard that happened in the book, and I was like, well, that makes sense to the motive of him in Italy and what I think it's doing for his character.
Right.
That being said, actually talking a little bit about the book, I haven't read it. My buddy Fink, who was supposed to be on the show, has a while ago. But I was reading the Pauline Kael review for The Godfather. And the biggest thing she talks about in there is how Mario Puzo's book is a trashy little crime novel that even he admits he wrote far beyond his own means of writing because it was a quick buck. But because she said it's nothing but misogyny and gun violence and cheating husbands, and there's no depth behind anything.
Yeah.
But Francis Ford Coppola adds all that depth and interest that the book never gave us. So I found that interesting that it was essentially a little like pulpy book that he was asked to make a movie of, and made for what a lot of people consider one of the greatest movies of all time. I find that really amusing myself.
Right. It made you not that it ended up being anything amazing, but I'm thinking of it was pure crap. But this 50 Shades of Grey thing where the books are just god awful. But like now I'm imagining Francis Ford Coppola receiving like that pit, like, okay, Frank, we need you to make 50 Shades of Grey. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna add some depth into this.
I'd watch a Francis Ford Coppola directed 50 Shades of Grey movie.
I saw the first one. It wasn't good at all.
It's kind of how I felt. Like I saw the first Twilight movie. A friend of mine, it was before Twilight really blew up. I think the only first book had come out, and like she's like, "Oh, you should read this vampire book." And I was like, "Oh, I've never heard of this." So I read it, and I didn't like it very much. The most interesting part was when they're trying to kill the main character because I didn't really like her very much. But then, then the book started taking off a little bit, and I was like, "Oh shit! I didn't think this was going to become a thing. I thought it was. It just was any other young adult novel. I didn't think it was anything particularly interesting." And I was like, anything that's happening here, Anne Rice has done better earlier, but whatever. But she was like, "Hey, do you want to go see the first movie?" And I was like, "I don't have any money." And she's like, "I'll pay for you to go see it." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go see the first movie with you."
Right.
And we went, and the funny thing is, the theater we were seeing it at was showing it in two different, like, side-by-side screens. Everyone was in one, and I could not, every girl in the theater was freaking out if things were inaccurate, or they didn't kiss at this point. And I was like, "Can we go to the theater next door?" No one was in there. So I was actually able to watch the movie, and I was like, this is garbage. And you know me, I don't like to really badmouth movies, but that movie was garbagey.
What, I don't know if you'd be able to recall it. I can. What is the worst film that you've ever seen?
Okay, I think I got it. It was, I don't remember the female lead, but it was a Gerard Butler romantic comedy called The Bodyguard.
Nice, not to be confused with the Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner.
No, maybe it was something the Bodyguard something, but it was the Bodyguard.
Okay.
Gerard Butler was like a hitman bodyguard type dude, and it was supposed to be like cashing in on like those crazy like, you know, action-oriented romantic comedies where these two people don't like each other, but then they fall in love, and I just thought it was an insult to my intelligence, and I don't feel that often.
That wasn't the one with Jennifer Aniston, was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Boom, I didn't see it, but I remember the trailer.
Oh, I hated that movie. And then the friend I was with was like, I was saying how much I disliked it. And she was like, you're just not able to enjoy anything fun. And I'm like, no, I can. This was stupid. But beyond the point.
House of the Dead.
The fucking Uwe Boll movie? No, I'm thinking Wait, what am I thinking of?
The one based on the arcade game?
Yeah, I think Uwe Boll directed that.
Let's do a little...
Are you familiar with Uwe Boll?
No.
He does a lot of these video game adaptations. He's a German dude who... Yeah, Uwe Boll directed it. He's a German guy who has a lot of money for some reason. No one's quite sure why. And he just makes all these really kind of shitty movies.
German, Canadian, American action horror film.
One thing I have to give him credit for is I think he's won more Golden Raspberries than anyone else, so good on him. But then, like, at one point, like, last couple years, he's tried to make some decent films. Like, he's been trying to make some interesting stuff, and I give him credit for that. But, you know, he gets a lot of bad reviews. And at Fantastic Fest, they have a thing called Fantastic Debates, where you can, you know, you debate a topic, and then you go into a boxing match with pads and everything, and you box each other, and that's how you decide who wins. And he had an open challenge for any critic that wanted to come in and
box him.
And he beat the shit out of all of them because he's actually like a trained professional boxer.
That's funny.
And I was like, I love that he's making these crappy movies, but he's willing to box someone's ears in for his artistic credibility.
Right. I'm not going to prove that I'm a good filmmaker by making good films. I'm going to prove I'm a good filmmaker by punching critics.
He's like the wild man of Hollywood. I have a weird like respect for him for that.
House of the Dead was garbage.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I will not box him over that.
He did the Blood Rain movies as well, and those were pretty fucking terrible.
Okay.
The only one he made that I really liked, do you remember the video game Postal, the computer game?
No.
It's like the whole point of the game was it's a 24-hour cycle where you have to play as the lead character, you know, going to your job, coming home, going to the mall, all this other shit. But everyone in the game is so annoying that you have to get through the entire game without killing someone. And he made a movie based on it, starring Scott Farkas from The Christmas Story.
Oh, nice. I thought you were gonna say it's called Falling Down.
It's kind of. And it's like there's at one point you get to go to the mall to like buy pants or something, and like Gary Coleman's at the mall, and like you get something if you go through the entire game without just brutalizing someone, because everyone is like, one point you have to wait in line at the DMV, and you literally just have to wait for every person.
This sounds like a horrible video game.
Yeah, pretty much. But
video game not as escapism, but as all of the worst parts about life.
Like The Sims, but not as fun.
Yeah.
Just imagine if Uwe Boll would have directed The Godfather.
Right.
But anyways, why'd you ask about the movie, my most hated movie?
What were you talking about just before that?
How I don't like to really shit on films too much, but...
Yeah, and something about that made me think, like, God, House of the Dead. So then I was just curious as to what yours was,
okay,
so that I could segue in.
I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if it would necessarily be Twilight, because I feel it's a low-hanging fruit. It's easy.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of something that legitimately just pissed me off when I saw it in the theater, and that was, you know, The Bodyguard. I wonder if that's actually what it's called. Let me look it up. While I'm doing that, pick what you want to talk about next.
Our next, we talked about the opener. I really wanted to talk about the Italy sequence and Michael's motivations, how everybody was baby-faced.
Yeah, I think it was called The Bodyguard.
Okay.
I'm looking at stuff too. Vito's reaction to Sonny getting killed kind of like hurt my heart a little bit, because it's like,
it wasn't Michael, was it? Oh, thank God it wasn't Michael.
And then like, but he did like shed some tears, but it was like he kind of knew this was going to happen.
Sure. I mean, he always wanted Michael to be out of the family business. He knows that Sonny's in it. He knows that Sonny's a hothead. So I think a part of him was always prepared for Sonny. Like, it's like, he was ready for that.
Yeah.
Though then there was like the meeting where he was trying to call a peace with all the families. I was like, we both lost a son. That was really sad. Now, I don't want to lose another son, but if anybody touches one hair on Michael's head, this is all over.
But darling, this isn't personal. This is business.
Business.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I have, like I said, such weird feelings about the film, because like, I feel like I liked it ultimately. I don't know how often else I'm going to watch it, because I've already seen the fucking movie 3 times, and I think that's
right.
good for a while. I would like to see the sequels.
I am compelled to see the sequels. I don't feel compelled to watch The Godfather again, except maybe to get that spaghetti sauce recipe, which actually is really similar to mine, except he didn't tell him to add salt or pepper to it. I mean, at the very least, you need salt. Sugar, I put sugar in my spaghetti sauce. You need a little something sweet to help balance out the acid and things, but you gotta add salt.
And then you add all the meatballs and the sausages.
There you go.
Mike, you gotta learn how to cook for 30 guys.
Right, you never know.
That's a very specific number of guys you gotta learn to cook for.
29, they'll be fine. 31, too many. 30.
This feeds 30. No seconds.
Who is it? Some girl.
Hello, Kay? How's your father? He's good. He's gonna make it. Huh?
I love you. Michael?
Yeah, I know.
Tell me you love me.
Yeah, I can't talk.
Can you say it?
Yeah, I'll see you tonight.
Hey, Mikey, why don't you tell that nice girl you love her? I love you with all of my heart. If I don't see you again soon, I'm gonna die. Hey, come over here, kid. Learn something. You never know, you might have to cook for 20 guys someday. You see, you start out with a little bit of oil, and you fry some garlic. Then you throw in some tomatoes, some tomato paste. You fry it, you make sure it doesn't stick. You got it to a boil, you shove in all your sausage and your meatballs. Huh? And a little bit of wine. And a little bit of sugar. And that's my trick.
Why don't you cut the crap? I got more important things for you to do. How's Paulie?
Oh, Paulie, won't see him no more.
Oh, one thing I did want to talk about, because it came out of fucking nowhere, but I guess, if someone backstabs you, this is how this would happen. I was legitimately surprised by Tessio being like
which one is?
He's like the brittle old man at the end who they end up killing off.
Oh, Abe Vigoda.
Yeah, Abe Vigoda. Like him turning on them surprised me, to say the least.
That was one of the more effective things in the film, was when Brando was like, and it was so cute, like, I've been doing this all my life, but here's my little bit of advice. Take it, whoever is the one that tries to set the meeting is the one that betrayed you. Mm-hmm. And then so I spent it was the first time that they actually set something up, I felt like, versus everything else. So then I'm actually sitting there going, who's going to call the meeting? Who's going to? And they show Michael at the funeral looking around. All right, is it him? Is it him? And then he comes over. We should set a meeting, and it's like, yep, he's the one that betrayed me.
Yeah, and I was like, that was just a really well done. And then it kind of goes with the theme of that it's not personal, it's business. At the very end, he's like,
Michael, Michael needs to know it was just about, you know.
It was nothing personal.
Yep.
And because, like, I believe that Tessio legitimately cared about Don and his family. He's looking out for his own interests.
Right.
You know, because honestly, he wouldn't have stayed, because Dave Vigoda's old as fuck in this movie. He wouldn't have stayed with that family if he wasn't happy. Because the Don gave them an opportunity to go start their own family whenever they wanted to, and they chose not to up until, you know, Sonny took over, or Sonny died, and then, you know, Michael was taking over, and they're like, fuck, okay, we can put up with Sonny, but Michael has no idea what the fuck he's doing. We're gonna go start our own family with blackjack and hookers.
But forget about the blackjack.
Yeah, and forget about the crime. One thing I wanted to talk about over our notes is, or from my notes, is the imagery of oranges.
Okay,
did you pick up on that?
From the when he finally has his heart attack and dies.
There are, I might have missed a couple scenes. If you look up a list of oranges in The Godfather, you're gonna find even more.
Really?
It's a running motif throughout the movie that I personally believe is featured in any important scene that's usually life-altering in some way. There are oranges all over in the wedding.
Oh, when he gets shot the first time, he's buying oranges from the
There's
produce.
also oranges in Mr. Wolf's dining room. He was the producer who had had a horse's head in his bed.
Okay.
Don Corleone buying oranges when he's shot. Don Corleone's meeting with the 5 families when he kind of deduces who he's going to fucking kill. And Don Vito's death, and there's more. There's oranges throughout the entire film.
What's the... I mean, other than just being a little visual indicator, a little Wayne, what's the significance?
I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to look it up. I know what I believe. I believe it's an indication of something bad about to happen, but I don't know...
Just a bad omen, but...
Yeah, bad omen.
It could have been pears or pomegranates or whatever and have accomplished the same thing. Is there something? Is there a reason why it's oranges?
That I'm not too sure about, because I checked. The first thing that comes up when I search The Godfather oranges is a website called Schmoop. And it says, oranges appear whenever death is in the air. When the Godfather gets shot in the streets, he's buying oranges, which scatter on the ground as he falls. When Vito dies at the very end, it's while peeling an orange and putting the rind in his mouth to make funny faces at his grandson. Before the horse head shows up in Jack Woltz's bed, we see oranges at the table where he eats dinner with Tom Hagen. Oranges show up at the meeting with the 5 families near the mob boss who will be whacked. Why? What's so deathly about oranges? Who knows? Oh, this person says, who knows? There's no occult Sicilian association with oranges. The entertainment.time.com did an article. It's, what's the deal with all the oranges? For production designer Dean Tavarius, if you're listening to this, Dean, I'm sorry.
We butchered that one.
Oranges were simply another careful chosen complement to otherwise somberly dressed sets. We knew this film wasn't going to be about bright colors, and oranges make a nice contrast. I don't remember anybody saying, hey, I like orange as a symbolic message. So, apparently...
Oh, so he's saying that it's more coincidence.
That is interesting,
it was just a set dressing choice.
But I found a list, and apparently in the sequels, they show up too. So maybe after the first one, they're like, oh, fuck, that was a good idea.
Right, now it's a thing.
Because here's all the time oranges are mentioned. You ready?
Yep.
So the first time we see Sal, he tossed himself an orange at Connie's wedding. He later betrays Michael. Bye-bye. There's a fruit basket with oranges in front of Sandra as she gestures to others the size of her husband Sonny's manhood.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bowl of oranges in front of Waltz. We know what happens to his horse. There are oranges around when Salazzo enters the Don's office for the meeting. Dead man. Right before he was shot, Don Corleone bought 2 oranges. Oh, and it says, oh man, and omen. And as he topples to the street, the Don upsets a basket of oranges into the street.
I love the idea of upsetting a basket of oranges.
I know. When sitting with his father after he returns home from the hospital, Fredo sits next to a fruit basket of oranges. He later betrays the family, and his prayers cannot help him. At the commission meeting of the 5 family, bowls of oranges are placed in front of the Don, Philip, Tattaglia, and Barzini, all of which die. What does Don Vito have in his mouth a moment before he dies? Yup, an orange. Not fruit, but Carl gets his ass whipped by Sonny while wearing an orange suit. It's true, though. Not fruit, but Kay wears an orange coat when she comes looking for Michael at the compound. Not fruit, but Michael's tie when he talks with Mo. Orange. And also not fruit, but more orange clothing. The masseuse's pants, the woman behind Barzini's who falls on the steps, and the assassin's shirt at the revolving door. So, oranges, man.
Yeah. Tutti.
Yeah. So, I don't know if we'll ever know. Like, granted, like I said, the production designer says it was all incidental, but it's kind of funny that it showed up in such an interesting way throughout the film.
It's, I once, I don't remember if I was told or I read it somewhere, not to worry too much about putting meaning into things because whoever reads it or watches it will find something somewhere in something you did and feel that it's really significant.
I'm going to start putting that to the test. I'm just going to start putting, like, little ceramic hobos in everything I make and see if people catch on to what I'm supposed to be saying about homelessness. And
the first film I did, I tried to do it, but I had too much on my plate, and it fell by the wayside pretty early on. I had a little toy rhinoceros that I tried to sneak into every single scene.
You told me about the toy rhino.
So it's in a couple of the scenes, but
that's funny.
Boy, I wouldn't even know where it is anymore. I know several of them made the final cut, but
that's fantastic.
All right. Well,
yeah, I'm kind of running out of juice right now on the topic.
Well, I got another film that I saw recently.
Ooh,
that,
tell me.
Excited me. I finally saw Get Out.
What did you think of Get Out?
I freaking loved it.
It's so good.
It was amazing.
Like, if someone would have told me that one of the dudes from Key and Peele would make not only a horror film that would get Academy Award nominations, but he'd win Best Screenplay,
yeah,
I'd be like, really? Like, don't get me wrong, I love Key and Peele and all, but really?
It's so smart and so well done, and the whole flipping not only racism on flipping the script on horror films to represent racism, but also that, like, that not the racism of our parents' generation, but the modern racism of, like, oh, that's fun, you know, like that good intentioned racism.
No, exactly. Because, like, I think I remember hearing Jordan Peele, wow, could not think of his name, talking about how he's like, it's too easy to have, like, you know, the white conservative Southern racist. He's like, it's too easy. He's like, he wanted
have been interesting.
He wanted to show, like, the liberal family that is there for the plight of the black man who still says stupid stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I thought every part, but it also, like, while it did a great job of representing that, it wasn't obnoxious. It wasn't Avatar, right? Where, like, okay, we get it, you want to save the environment. Like, it was still a self-contained film that was enjoyable as a film that wasn't super preachy. You know, it was so smart. I loved it.
No, and it's like, this gets thrown around a lot, but for me, it was like a contemporary episode of The Twilight Zone. Just elongated and stretched and
totally.
Like, I thought it was fantastic. It was probably my favorite movie of last year, and I didn't think anything was going to knock Baby Driver off the top seat, but
that one I did not see.
Get Out did. A couple things I saw. Well, I took my mom to go see Book Club last night, and that movie was not very good. I didn't think it was going to be, but she likes the actors in it, and she doesn't get out of the house very often, so I was like, fuck it, I'll take her to go see Book Club.
Right, yeah.
Me and Amanda saw the new horror movie Hereditary very recently. I don't want to talk about too much because it's still really new.
Okay.
But it's a really great horror film, and it's one I definitely recommend seeing in theaters if you get a chance to. And then one thing that's been kind of fun is Turner Classic Movies occasionally will do, like, a Disney from the vault, and they pull shit out that normally doesn't get the light. You know, it's not like Little Mermaid and Pocahontas, you know, things that we can see very easily. Like, their theme this time was, like, dog movies, like kind of like in movies they made around the time of Old Yeller that were popular. Like one of them was like The Legend of Lobo, which is like Disney doing like a nature documentary type thing, and it had a singing cowboy narrating it. That was kind of fun. And they'll and before each one they'll put like a little short of some sort, whether it be like a Mickey Mouse cartoon, and they're all the old ones where Walt was still voicing Mickey, so that's great fun to see. But then they had a short called A Trip Through the Walt Disney Studios. That was pretty great, and it was made before Snow White came out.
Okay.
And it was like his Hyperion studio. So and it's kind of great because he did not make it for the intention of having anyone for the public to see. He made it just for RKO Pictures because they were distributing Snow White, and at this time most people didn't know how animated film was made. So it's a 15-minute short that goes into all the nitty-gritty specific details of how animation is made, even how they sync up sound, and what how the animators like base their own facial patterns for the characters. And it was kind of great to see like this one dude with a huge fucking stogie in his mouth just angrily drawing, and Amanda was commenting how great that was, and I was like, well, at the time, and Stan Lee did this with comic book artists too, people didn't strive to be a comic book artist. They didn't strive to be a cartoonist. They were usually men who worked in a factory or just came back from war, who were either laid off or couldn't get a job, who had some minuscule amount of art talent that both Stan Lee or Walt Disney be like, hey, you can draw, come work with me, and we'll make cartoons.
Right.
It wasn't like, nowadays kids like start from a young age like, oh, I want to draw comic book characters. Right. At this time, it was just a job. Like, hey, I can draw a little bit. I can fucking draw Superman punching Adolf Hitler in the face. Perfect. And that's how it came to be. So it was this fascinating little look, and like Walt Disney introduces it, and it's not the Walt Disney I grew up with, where like at late night in Disney Channel they'd show like the old like tour of Walt Disney Studios things.
Welcome,
and it like he'd do like
where
this.
imagination happens.
Yeah, it wasn't any of that, which I love those. If I could get a collection of all of those, I'd be so happy. This is Walt, like, kind of leaning on his desk like this, and is like, welcome, is like, I am Walt Disney, and, like, he's talking, and, like, there's, like, a secretary next to him typing everything he's saying, and he looks so painfully nervous. It looks like he just put out a cigarette, but if you think about it, this is before Snow White came out. He put all of his fucking money into this, and, like, they're probably like, let's make this thing for RKO Studios. It's like, do we have to? And he looks so stressed out that it's kind of adorable that he's probably like, this is all my money and now we're doing this sucks.
Remember, kids, stay away from the Jews.
Oh, that's not the Walt Disney I believe in.
Yeah.
Damn you, Nick.
One more thing I saw.
Oh, real quick, I was gonna say about that thing. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but do you have cable or know anyone who does have cable?
I do not. Nor do I know anybody.
I'll let you borrow mine because my mom has cable, so I borrow her Turner Classic Movie. It's on TurnerClassicMovies.com until tomorrow. So if you have any interest in watching it, you can log in using my mother's information.
Nice.
And
why don't you just tell our listening audience what your mom's logged in?
No, I'm not. I'm probably gonna cut this part out too. So if you wanna see it, it's available.
Okay, I am covering the county council meeting tonight, so I won't be able to.
Well, I'll find it on YouTube for you, and I'll post it on our page or something.
Awesome.
Anyways, what else did you see?
I saw Solo.
What did you think? Oh, I want to talk about Solo. What did you think about Solo?
I think it was the best Star Wars film outside of the original trilogy.
Yes, 100%. And it may be somewhere in there, but I kind of think of episode 4, 5, and 6 as kind of equally good, and Solo fits right in there with all of it. No, and like actually talking about The Godfather, he lit that fucking movie like The Godfather. Think about how naturalistic that light. Sure. It didn't look or feel like any other Star Wars film. One thing I loved about it too was Ron Howard really shows his directing chops in that movie, where like all the action is very clear and precise. You know exactly like where all the action is at because he's not cutting around so much. Even that car chase at the beginning where he's like in the speeder, like how often he's got the camera right on Han as he's driving and he's shooting it like an old 70s car chase.
Yeah. Yep. Here's why I think it's so good. People tend to think of how can I word that? It's such a big idea. I'm having a hard time formulating a way to say it. When people think of Star Wars films, they're thinking of big, grandiose things with lightsaber battles, and that's not really what the first trilogy was about. The first, especially New Hope, was about a core group of people who, sure, existed in a big world, but you didn't see that big world. You filled that in over time so that when you go back and watch A New Hope, you know all that stuff is there, but it's not in A New Hope.
No.
It's about a core group of people on a very specific mission. It feels like a small story in a big world, where all things outside of that trilogy are big stories taking place in a big world. Solo got back to a small story that sure winks at the rebellion that's about to be born and winks at this, but it's a heist movie.
Yeah, totally.
That's all it is.
And then
and it's so good because of that.
And then a couple of little things I thought, like I said, Ron Howard, you could really see that he's a student of cinema.
Yeah.
That war scene at the beginning was the grittiest war scene we've ever seen in a Star Wars film. But then the way they introduced like Woody Harrelson when he's on top of that hill, it's like this could have been a John Wayne introduction in one of his westerns.
Totally, yeah.
And then like the way they have his hair and his mustache, he looks like Errol Flynn. It's like there's so many weird little like nods and winks to like cinema history and westerns and shit that like I feel like he got it.
Han Solo in A New Hope was a gunslinger.
Exactly.
And he was a gunslinger who happened to be in space.
Yeah, like that's how George Lucas directed that first film. Was he was making a sci-fi film based around all of his other influences. I feel like most people now when they make a Star Wars film,
westerns,
they're making a Star Wars film.
Right.
Ron Howard felt like he was making a western heist film in space, and that's why it worked.
Which Ron Howard was probably there when George Lucas was coming up with all of this stuff, so it makes sense that he would have they did American Graffiti together.
And I heard rumors that George Lucas was behind the scenes with Ron Howard a couple times. Yeah. I don't know how true it is, but I wouldn't be surprised.
At the very least, had his ear to bend, and the history, like being there when A New Hope was originally conceived of, to have a perspective on it that most people don't.
Yeah, and like I thought the casting was I loved the actor they had to play Han, but I told you from the beginning that I had faith that he was going to be great.
Yeah,
because of his work in Hail Caesar.
Right. Yeah. You sent me. I never watched that clip.
He's so fucking charming though in that scene, and then Donald Glover as Lando is perfect.
Oh God, so good.
Because like it's very easy to take that character and make it a parody, right? And he never did.
Yeah. And they made him cool without him being too cool. Like they took many opportunities to knock him down a notch.
Yeah,
which I thought was really nice.
But he played it like in his mind, he's the coolest person on the planet.
Yeah. Oh, and was it L9?
L3, yeah, L3.
L3. Oh, what a great character.
I know.
I love how L3 accidentally starts a robot uprising and then is like, oh, oops, look what I did. This is great. I don't know. Just why don't you go free people? I don't know. Get out of my way.
One of the lines that made me laugh the most is when like Lando gets up and I was like, "Can I get you anything L3?" And she's like, "Equal rights."
Yes. Yeah.
And he just looks so annoyed.
I set myself up for that one. Yep, I should have known.
No, I'm glad you loved it too, because I'm in the same boat. Like this and Rogue One, I think are the best batch of Star Wars films since the original 3.
Yeah, I only have seen the last 10 minutes of Rogue One. I own it, have not watched it.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and this Godfather episode is becoming now the Star Wars episode. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's like the first, Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. He's like, with over 2 movies, I still don't really care about these characters. He's like, right. Rogue One, I got 1 movie with these characters and I liked them.
Yeah, because they're not trying to tell this gigantic story. Also, did we really need to blow up the Death Star again? Really?
Yes.
How many times are we going to blow up this freaking Death Star?
It's a new Death Star. This one they made a planet into the Death Star. It's different, Nick. It's different.
I bet they got secret plans that we've heard it before. Tell me something new. thank you, Solo, for telling me something new.
Yeah.
And not trying to tell me about the entire universe that this exists in. Just tell me somebody's story.
Yeah.
And he gets it. Ron Howard got it.
Yeah.
So.
And the 2 guys they fired apparently didn't get it. Or they still have the movie.
All right.
All I have to say is, what do you expect from the guys that directed 21 Jump Street and the Lego movie? Like, nothing against them.
The Lego movie is freaking amazing. I haven't seen 21 Jump Street.
I love both 21 Jump Street movies, but they just seem like a strange choice for a Star Wars movie. Right. Like, nothing against them. It's just, like, the complaint was when they watched their footage, it's like, this movie's too funny. Like, it can't take itself seriously.
Right.
I was like, well, what do you expect from those guys?
Right. What?
But, that's
maybe poor choice on, just they're going to do what they do.
Yeah. But Nick, I think that's everything.
That is the Godfather,
and a little bit of extra, a little bit extra. And I found
that's what we do.
I found that a trip through Walt Disney Studios. I will send it to you, and I'll post it on our page so everyone can watch it too.
Great idea. All right. Well, thank you all again for listening. We finally got the question.
Question for you before we officially wrap up. What do you want to do next? Do you want to do our shameful episode, or do you want to do something else?
You know what? I'm gonna push off our shameful one to August, because I should have more time for being able to digest a double feature.
Okay. What do you want to do until then?
Let me pull up the list. Where is that? That's on
because this one was on both of our shame lists, so it's kind of hard to figure out who's next. We've been so inconsistent lately.
So I think we could go in either direction. Where's my? Okay.
I'm trying to find mine as well.
Dead air.
Yep. I don't remember. I'm trying to find it on Letterboxd, and I'm struggling.
I have mine. We should have both of ours as notes on our Facebook page.
You're right. We should. All right, Michael's shame list.
Notes.
Should I just start naming things off, or how do you want to do this?
Name things that are sound exciting to you.
Well, there's a Charles Bronson movie on here that I haven't seen called 10 to Midnight. American Graffiti. That's one I haven't seen yet.
Which we just referenced.
Yep.
This is taking forever to load.
Yeah, mine wasn't necessarily fast either. Night Riders is one I wanted to see. It was a George Romero movie about like a Renaissance troupe of jousters, but they ride motorcycles.
Amazing.
The tagline is "Camelot is just a state of mind."
I need to update this. There are several that we've checked off.
Matinee is one I wouldn't mind seeing at some point. The Joe Dante movie about it's tongue in cheek about William Castle, and about like the last screening of a movie during the Cuban Missile Crisis, right before they believe the world's gonna get blown up.
Okay. How about?
What do you got, Nick? What do you got?
Mad Max.
The original?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's do Mad Max. I've been wanting to rewatch it anyhow.
I have not seen it.
But have you seen any of the Mad Max movies?
Zero Mad Max.
Not even Fury Road?
Not even Fury Road.
Well, then this will be fun. We're going to do the original Mad Max next week.
All right. And so when we don't do that for the next 3 episodes...
we'll figure something else out. All right, Nick. I think Mad Max is a great choice.
Awesome. And a good follow-up to The Godfather.
Exactly. Well, let's just point out the fact that we followed up Gone with the Wind with Moonraker.
Yeah. No, I think it's good to... It feels like we've properly shuffled.
Like,
you're not getting all the face cards right next to each other.
We had a 4 episode... This is our 5-episode run we did during the first season. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In the Mouth of Madness, Gone with the Wind, Moonraker, and Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Perfect. Take that theme.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Well, you have a good rest of your day. I'm going to go pick up ham and rolls from the bakery.
Ooh, have fun with that. I'm going to edit stuff. Not this.
No, well, I'm probably actually going to get a start on this because now SoundCloud, if we stick with SoundCloud, has the ability where you can pre-upload something pick a date.
It.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
I'm sure all those who care and watch regularly will have noticed, but we have now changed our drop date to Fridays.
Yep. I think I mentioned that on Facebook. I'm going to re-mention it. It just helps my editing schedule out because, if we and Nick record on a Tuesday or Wednesday, for those who care about the inside baseball aspect of a podcast, that only gives me one night to edit.
Yeah. And both your and my schedule shifted quite a bit from season 1 to season 2. Our personal one-work schedules and stuff, so it was kind of a necessary shift.
Yeah, but we're still gonna, other than once or twice, we have not really missed any episodes. I know we have. There was one period where we missed, we went an entire episode schedule without posting anything, but that was kind of a necessary evil. But.
Yeah, I like to think that each season we did a buy. We did a single buy to go, you know what, this is the one that stuff's too crazy right now.
Yeah, and while not every episode we've necessarily covered a movie, I try to make sure something goes up. So does Nick. Yeah. We try, even if it's, just us talking about, sometimes I'll just, since I buy so many movies, I just need a place to talk about them.
And I try and actually watch movies occasionally.
I have more movies than I have time for. I just got Barton Fink in the mail on Blu-ray, and I was like, I don't know when I'm going to have time for you. And I just set it down.
you go up on the shelf.
I put you here, and I never think about you again.
But I own you now.
Yep. All right, Nick, is there anything last before we head out?
I don't think so. Great episode.
I think it's so. I think it was good. I'm really happy with this episode.
I liked the meteor ones that give us something to dive into, and this was one of those.
And for me, having done very little reading before this movie, I think we had a good discussion.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, dude. Have a good one.
I will.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.